The president commenting on today's Supreme Court decisions, celebrating the right to fire independent regulators, but responding he doesn't think it will lead to more firings. The president also asked about his plans for the housing bill and responding he does not know, but that he believes it is less important than the Save America Act. I want to bring in NBC News senior policy reporter Shannon Pettypiece. He has been single-minded on the Save America Act. We should remind our viewers this puts more restrictions and proof of citizenship for people voting.
Yes, and the president using an earlier ruling by the Supreme Court around mail-in ballots, saying that if it arrives after Election Day, but it was mailed on Election Day or before, it can still be counted. So basically, the Supreme Court ruling maintained the status quo, but there was a push by the RNC, the Republican National Committee, to change that. So if a ballot arrived after Election Day, it couldn't be counted. So the president using that Supreme Court ruling here to sort of revive this push for the Save America Act, which would be a very sweeping overhaul of the U.S. election system and essentially require states to obtain documented proof, a passport, a birth certificate, in order for someone to be eligible to vote. It is something the president has said is one of his top priorities. And as you mentioned there, Christine, he has previously threatened not to sign this housing affordability legislation that has passed the Senate and the House with widespread bipartisan support. He has continued to threaten not to sign that until Congress takes action on the Save America Act. And as you just noted there, he was asked about it. He said he hasn't received it. There has been a little bit of back and forth in Congress about whether the bill has been actually transmitted to the president when it's on his desk. He indicated that he hasn't really made up his mind. He was going to take a look at this once he actually receives it and then make a decision. But I believe the words he used was that anything compared to the Save America Act is a big yawn. And he has criticized this housing affordability bill as something that really doesn't go far enough to address some of the wider issues in the housing market, which he sees mainly being around interest rates. But of course, the Housing Act has really widespread bipartisan support. It would help get Wall Street investors out of the housing market. It would thin out some of the bureaucratic hurdles housing experts say have been stymieing some of these programs to get new housing built and more affordable housing on the market. So it's something both Democrats and Republicans are behind and has a lot of bipartisan support. But the president still indicating he is not sure, he is not committed to signing that act, Christine.
And certainly that's caused some frustration from some in Congress who would like to be able to go home and say, look, we did this about affordability, even if it doesn't necessarily go far enough. We did this about affordability. They want to be able to bring that back to their constituents.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Is it going to light the world on fire and make your rent go down next month? No, it's something that's going to take a long time. Housing takes a long time. But again, it is something that Congress could say they did, especially obviously coming up to a midterm election where while gas prices are going down at the moment, there still is certainly tension in the Middle East and the Strait of Hormuz that could reverse that trend. And so something that has been putting affordability back on Americans' minds as they absorb these added energy costs. So something that members of Congress could take home and sell to their constituents would be this piece of housing legislation.
Yeah, and the president saying that what he sees as election security more important than anything else here right now. Shannon Pettypiece, thank you so much.
We thank you for watching. And remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.